Hi, and welcome to Homo Ludens, the channel on history and board games for probably the most serious stream of the year. So thanks everyone for joining us tonight for the Ask Me Anything 8K special. We're going to keep it quick, but yeah, I asked Pierre and Lise to come over to actually be the ones in charge of asking the questions. We got a question from Discord, we got a question from YouTube, and I think that Pierre asked some specific people some questions that are particularly mean. So I guess we'll see what comes up.
We'll
But yeah, and of course, first of all, I would like to thank you two, Pierre and Lise, for doing this with this very stupid stream with me. And more importantly, I would like to thank everyone for supporting the show over the years. It's been 5 years or so now. I didn't expect to. 8K is not much, but I think for our specific niche and the kind of stuff that I do, I think it's awesome to be at that point. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in, watching the show, and yeah, and having me hearing me whine about history in board games and how it could be better. But that's the thing, we love the hobby, we want to make it better. So that's the idea. But we also play a lot of games, have a lot of fun, discuss with designers. So yeah, I hope you're gonna have fun with this one. Of course, feel free to ask additional very serious question in the chat. That's the idea. And as Liz is saying, we are very, very serious. But yeah, that's gonna be cool. And I see that Sam is here. Sam, really cool to have you on. If you want to do a surprise appearance, just send me a DM on Discord and I would send you the link. That could be also fun to have you on. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I tried to categorize the question that I got, Pierre, in different categories.
Yeah, it's all right.
But yeah, then you took over the document, and I don't know what you guys have done with it, so I hope it's not going to be too bad.
That's all right. I think
my
we're
main
probably...
concern my main concern is not get cancelled again. So we'll see how long that lasts.
But we're
How
ahead of
long it
it,
will be
right?
before I get cancelled.
How long? I mean, that's up to me, really. So
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
So I think we're going to probably go back and forth with questions, and I've got a couple of the questions that are going to be to both of you, actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I think maybe to start with, I think it's nice to go with a softball question and say,
I'm worried now.
no, it's a nice question. It's what's the thing you're most proud of with your channel?
Against.
And sort of the community and like board game design in general.
Arno is here, Daniel.
And how would you rate them? You know, how's your design work versus the channel and the community? What's more important to you?
Do you want to go first, Liz?
It just ignores the question.
I just said it was
Fred's
for both
stream,
of us.
He's just gonna ignore it.
You said it was for both of us. So
well, we know that Fred's podcast isn't what's most important to him.
No, clearly not.
Fire that shot
Clearly
right
not.
now.
Yeah. What podcast, Liz? Sorry, what podcast?
So I'm actually like in the middle of like a lot of moral quandaries about some moral. Like, how do I feel? I'm suffering from an identity crisis because of my own like changes in the industry, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so like, I love doing my channel, but I don't feel comfortable just doing reviews anymore because it feels inappropriate. But I really liked reviewing, so I'm still trying to find myself in terms of like what kind of videos I want to make. My podcast is still going strong. I love doing my podcast. I love it. I love it. I love it. But it's really funny. Like I forget I'm a game designer a lot still. Like I have some imposter syndrome about it, and so right now I really see myself as a podcaster when I'm just alone. Sure. But I really think that in the next year, as my designs start to like make it out into the world, I might change because I'm really proud of the designs I'm working on. It's just that nobody can see them yet.
Yeah, it's a weird spot to be in, isn't it? Because you have been like in that sort of design mindset for the last year or two now, almost, haven't you? Just like completely, like as in the serious, like actually getting games published, and yeah, no one's seen them yet, so it's a bit weird. To, like,
somebody actually walked up to me at Gen Con and said, "So how did you get a job at Leader? You don't even have a game published." And first of all, rude. But I told him that I was all cattle and no hat. Like,
sure. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean it works. What about you, Fred? What's the thing you're most proud of within channel, community, design?
I think well, I have a very conflictual relationship with the stuff that I design. So in a way, I'm very proud of what I've done, but I'm also very critical of it. it's I feel the same way regarding the channel itself. Like, I'm proud that I actually that I started, that I kept on going, which I think is actually probably harder than getting started. Actually, all those years afterwards, still keeping pushing video, trying new stuff. That's not easy necessarily to put yourself in front of people like that. So I'm proud of this, but then again, I always think that everything that I could do could be better. The thing that I'm the proudest of is the community on Discord. I think it's the space that we created together collectively is probably the thing that makes me like the most happy about everything that I've done. I mean, I'm on there every day. I met a lot of awesome people through that, people that are friends now. And I think it's awesome personally. I think the kind of discussion that we have there sometimes can be a bit lively, a bit rough. Actually, I see that Deborah is in the chat, and we actually had a pretty heated conversation with Deborah about game designers' names on the box. But I think those kind of discussions are awesome, and we are, even if we disagree and everything, it's always thoughtful. It's always interesting to have this discussion. I'm just having a great time over there. I think it's the thing that I'm the proudest of. I would say.
Yeah, it's a great space, and far better than your board game design. So I think that's great. So I think going back more into like industry questions would be quite interesting. And we've seen like over the last few years, I guess over the last decade or so, Kickstarter has really like completely changed the board game industry. And some of us have like experienced that pretty firsthand. Like, I mean, Liz, where you work at the games, is that good? Yeah, at the games is like you've seen that really blow it up, huge, isn't it? Yeah. More recently, like I've sort of seen it in the wargame space a bit more as well. Like companies like Compass Games, Sound of the Drums, doing really well with Kickstarter, with like multiple stretch goals that have been smashed through. So, I mean, especially Fred, with that in mind, what piece of Nazi memorabilia do you think you should add as a stretch goal to one of your future designs?
First of all, I think I would need to make a World War II game, which is somewhat unlikely. But I think it was it Dan that suggested that maybe a loaded Luger would be nice? So I think I'll go with that. I think it was a good suggestion. It's not from me, so I cannot get canceled for it. But I think it was an interesting suggestion, so I think I would go for that. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Liz, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. You work with Kickstarter quite often.
Actually, so here's what I will tell you though. This is actually something I really like about working at Leader is that we don't do like the big stretch goal thing.
Yeah,
it's very much good. Like we don't have things that you can't get later. We don't do exclusive things, and that's something that I would prefer.
And I mean, frankly, I think if I see a Kickstarter with too many stretch goals, it really puts me off. Not because like I don't want those things. I want those things that they're offering. It is more like, oh, this is just going to create development and like production difficulties and just makes it so confusing. Whereas with later games and those sort of things, you know that they can make the game, and you know that they can get it in your hands as quickly as possible, which is great.
Yeah. Well, not as quick as we do a long dev process, but I like that
for sure. But you know what I mean. Yeah. And like if they add a Luger to that, then that's just going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, not speaking at all with regards to my employer. I mean, I thought that the replica cyanide caplets were the best because it reminds you what happens if you go Nazi. That's how it is for you. It's a good reminder.
We could have like 1 in 10 not be a shot.
Well, actually, I would say that's the best possible outcome is the cyanide peel. Maybe the worst is getting hanged by your foot and getting beaten by a mob, which is probably I would say the best outcome, but not the best for the Nazis in question.
I think this next question again is to both of you, and it's from someone on the Discord server. I'm pretty sure. You both pretty loudly and frequently claim out loud all the time, really, that you are both wargame designers. Fred, you designed a game around the Battle of Gravelotte. A while back, 2021. It doesn't have any hexes in it, which is bizarre.
No, it doesn't.
Liz, your upcoming game, Night Witches, does have hexes in it, which is great, but it's a co-op, so like it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it also does have women in it.
Yeah,
I was about. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
chicks. Yeah. It's full of chicks. So, it's not a war game. Come on.
Will either of you ever design a real war game? Is my question.
And with many men.
Manly men, yeah.
So here's what I'll say. Y'all can like worry about this in a couple years because we're nowhere near anything serious. But I've been doing a lot of Gettysburg research. So not only am I going to contribute a World War II hex and counter game to our field, okay? It's a World War II hex and counter game. Eat it.
That's a good point, yeah.
But I will additionally be making at some point a Gettysburg game.
Wow. And where's the I don't know, the Napoleonic game next, maybe?
Yeah.
Let me think about it. I might make a Josephine game. How about that?
So the thing is that Lizzie's next game is Battle of the Bulge. Then she's going to do Gettysburg. And then she's going to do Waterloo game. Those are the 3 next game from Liz. The one that she cannot announce yet, but those are the next 3.
Absolutely.
Classic, pure hex encounter, big fat CRT, like the classic.
Tens of thousands of counters. Yeah.
Actually,
exactly.
While I was doing the Gettysburg research, I shit you not, this is actually serious. My mom sent me a news piece. So like, unfortunately, I'm descended from a lot of Confederates because this is my misfortune genetically. But I'm sure they're proud of me too. But my great grandfather was at Gettysburg and lived. And there's like a news item where like a bullet that had hit his hand like came back to the surface and had to get removed to the doctor, and he kept it as a souvenir for the rest of his life.
That's quite fun. I guess you could do a hack of, I don't know, moving forwards with that. That'd be quite cool. Or heading forwards, right? That's the name. Okay. Again, I mean, unless Liz, you want to ask any specific questions,
So
I'm happy to pitch.
there are also
2 of these
questions
to
in
you.
the chat if you wanna.
Oh, for sure. I don't have the chat open because I don't want to give you any more views than you deserve.
Okay,
but
fair
I will
enough.
open that now. I mean, whilst I'm opening that and getting that ready, if you were to design an 18xx game, either of you, what would be the theme?
Well, I actually have an answer for that. I'm gonna bring some
I hope
props.
so.
I'll be back. So
Yeah.
Liz, you can think
Oh,
about
no.
it.
Liz, go ahead.
I've only played like half of an 18xx game, and it was not interesting to me. I think it'd be really fun to play a regulatory industry, a regulatory group trying to stop people from manipulating the market like that.
That's pretty good.
I think that'd be a fun game to make.
Yeah.
Just like, no, y'all cannot do this. You need to quit running businesses in the ground. Like some sort of like labor movement that like works for the railroads or something like that. That's just no.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I think that's what I go for.
Yeah, Chris Schultz in the chat. Yeah, Fred is a loser. Go ahead, Fred.
No, but I think I can say that I started working on a dual gauge entry, like expansion map. You know, the Amabel system. And so I started doing it with, paper and maps and stuff like this, but I'm going to start doing it on computer soon. But I can show you the map actually. And I don't know. I think
sick.
maybe if
it's pretty cool.
Can you see it?
Just about. Sure.
I'm going to maybe put it like this. And this is a map of colonial Algeria.
Ooh.
And I think it's a really interesting topic for train games, because I think the way the trains, lines, and companies were set up is actually a really good illustration of what colonialism was all about. And I thought it would be quite interesting to make a train game that does have something to say about history. And because I have a smooth brain, I was like, maybe I will start with dual gauge because it's maybe a more approachable system. At least it's a system that I understand better how to play. So that's the thing. It's a lot more subtle than it's a very subtle system, but it's more manageable for me than an 18xx game. But I think if I were to do an 18xx game, I think I would like to go in a direction like this. So yeah, that would be that would be this. And yes, Chris, I actually thinking about one, but yeah,
that's
probably
really
not.
And I think that's a good topic as well.
I think it's a good topic because you realize, because there is always this talking point, like in France's like conservative circles and everything. It's like, but colonialism, we built the railroads. It's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But what did you build the railroads for? Like, did you build it for the indigenous people and because you were such a nice guy, or did we build them to extract resources and send them to the mainland? It's like, when you look at the maps and the companies and how they were set up, it's pretty obvious what the railroads were for. It were not for the people people. So that's actually quite interesting. But yeah, so that's the idea. But yeah, so that would be my project. Will it ever be even an entry in the dual gauge system? Who knows? I hope it will be, but I have a few stuff that I'm working on right now, so I'm a bit delayed, but maybe.
Yeah, exciting. Very
Yeah.
exciting. Okay, and I think so. Well, let's take one from the chat. From Chris George, Liz. The best book for a newbie on the topic of ancient Christianity. You can't say the Bible.
God, it depends on exactly what it is you want to know about. It's been so long since I seriously thought about intro books. Let me think about it. If you want to know about Gnosticism, there is like a really good book called Rethinking Gnosticism, and it's like about how the definition doesn't work very well. But I actually think that what you should do is you should go read, like there's a site called Early Christian Writings. It's got like a bunch of just weird stuff and it's free. And you should just go read some things that like distinctly did not make it into the New Testament and that are like later. So like the Acts of Paul and Thecla, the Infancy Gospels, some of the Apocryphal Acts of the Apostles, because that stuff is just so weird. And it's just an absolute delight, and it'll give you a sense of just how funky and like diverse that period really was. And to me, I think that, you know, when you only think about church history as like the sort of official thing, you miss all like the weirdness and like the funny stuff that was surrounding it.
You miss the history of the church, really, don't you? Yeah.
Baby Jesus as a jokester, just baby Jesus as a murderer. So in the Infancy Gospel of Thomas, there's this like scene where Jesus is like walking and this kid like bumps into him, like, you know, you shoulder check somebody, and like young child Jesus goes, "You will not go your way," and like the kid falls down dead, because it's kind of like imagining like what does it mean to have powers and stuff when you're, you know, like a teenage or preteen like God, but you're also a person. They don't really think about it that deeply, but it's just like nobody would ever actually imagine this about Jesus. And I think it's very funny that people like wanted to write fan fiction about what he was like as a kid.
Absolutely. And what was that website again? Sorry.
Earlychristianwritings.com, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, great. Amazing. Really interesting.
Actually, Liz, I was thinking about you because so we have this collection in France called La Pléiade, which are like very like fancy book that does anthologies and stuff like this. And they recently released something about all the gospels that were not kept by the Catholic Church, so all the Gnostic stuff, and they just released 2 volumes of them, and I got them and I started reading it. And I'm not a big religious person or anything, but I think the Gnostic gospels are fucking insane. I think there are some wild stuff. I guess you have some thoughts on it, but yeah,
I do. Okay, so I don't want to plug myself too much, but I actually have a talk on my channel with my friend Dylan about Gnosticism. He is an expert. He's a professor at the University of Amsterdam. We were grad school friends together, and I actually like had him talk through like what that stuff is actually about and like how you can get started. So if you're interested in those things,
I would. I didn't listen to that podcast, but I would definitely listen to it because I'm having such a blast with reading those ancient texts. It's amazing, super interesting stuff.
It's basically like, what if you were super into the church and also Plato?
Yeah,
like.
Sounds really cool.
Okay, staying on theme then with other questions. What historical figure or ancient figure would have been a good game designer, do you think? This is from the server as well, I think.
Wow, that's a tough one. Historical figure would have been a good designer.
You can't say Kurt Vonnegut.
Yeah, you can't say Kurt Vonnegut. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. But I don't know. Seriously, it's a very hard question. Because because like I mean, we've seen historical figures making games and they usually suck. You know, like I'm thinking about like. No, they don't suck. I'm being unfair, but I'm thinking like I have 2 games in mind that were made by non-game designers that are big intellectuals. Like one of them is Guy Debord, and I think the Game of War by Guy Debord is interesting, but I don't think it is a great game, and I think he's not a great designer. And the other example I have is a French sociology couple called Les Pinson-Charlot, who actually they were specialized in the sociology of rich people in France. Like they analyze how they socialize, how they behave, what's their habitus and stuff like this. And they made a game about their work, and it fucking sucks. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think so it's hard for me to figure out. But then I'm trying to think about. I don't know. If you have a thought, Liz, go ahead, and I'll have to think a bit about it.
I always think about Roman. So while he wasn't always the best person, Julius Caesar is probably one of the most talented people to ever live.
Yeah.
I could see him doing a good board game if he decided that was what he wanted to spend his time on. For a party game, I think you'd have to go with Petronius, who was Nero's like master of taste. He was like very cultured and funny.
Nice.
Like I could see him coming up with like a good party game. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Cicero could come up with a good hidden traitor game or something.
No, Cicero's like too self-righteous.
But this is why, like hidden traitor, like he's always accusing everyone, right? Like,
but he has no sense of fun.
Yeah, true. True.
I think someone who would have made a great developer would probably be Ada Lovelace. I think that's probably the only thing that I could think about. But I don't know if she. I mean, she seems like she was pretty creative, and she figured out that with automated machine she could do music and stuff like this. So probably she would have been a pretty damn good game designer, maybe for crazy abstract Euros or stuff like that. So that would be my bet if I had to put money on someone.
Nice, I like it. Okay, we got a couple of food related questions in. So one is going to be for you, Fred. Is it okay to have cheese on a crumpet?
Well, it's a very weird question, because I think that apart from like sweet pastries like croissant and pain au chocolat, you should have cheese on almost anything. So why not on a crumpet? So I don't even understand the question. Why would
it's okay
it be
to be
problem?
wrong? It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine to be wrong. And Liz, why is it called biscuits and gravy when there aren't any biscuits and there is no gravy?
I mean, is this like a British to American English joke? Because
good example, Chris.
Typically, biscuits and gravy do have our biscuits.
Well, they're not cooked.
They're not cookies, but they're closer to crumpets, I guess.
You keep sticking your foot in it. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's so wrong in so many ways.
My thought about cheese, however, is that cheese is good on pretty much anything except maybe like a dessert. But even then, you have a dessert cheese, like Kneifa is like a
cheesecake.
Yeah, but that doesn't work.
That
that doesn't apply. That's different. Like it's like ricotta or stuff like this.
Yeah,
yes, there are certain cheese that are made for dessert.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't put a. But then again, you can have a slice of brie with jam. So that's
hell yeah.
I mean, cheese and sweet stuff is not necessarily a bad thing. Just that I would not necessarily consider it as a dessert.
Yeah. Back to design. For both of you, what's the weirdest but enjoyable game that you've played? So like really weird design and game, but that is still a good game that you enjoyed playing, if that makes sense. Not just a weird niche design that's kind of...
that's a weird question. I think I have a few of those in mind, but I don't know. I think the first one that comes to mind is After Pablo, which I think is a fucking great game. Really, really awesome. But I'm not sure it's a weird design. It does a lot of weird stuff, and the way it tackles the topic is pretty
weird.
pretty weird, but it's so much fun. So there is this, and then this really stupid roll and move space game that Merchants of Venus. For me, that's I didn't expect to like it, and it fucking slaps.
So the story of Merchants of Venus is that we were going to play Magic Realm at PunchCon, and then we all sort of looked at the box, looked at each other, and looked at the time and thought that we didn't want to bother with sort of a 12-hour slog through it when none of us had played before. So instead, we played another game by the same designer, Merchants of Venus, which is just maybe the best space trading game ever. You know, Eric, I think he coined the term starbitrage. With it, which is just perfect.
Perfect. I think Rafi is actually asking a really interesting question. What makes a game weird? And for me, that's going to be a weird match of the theme, the way it tackles it, and the mechanics that it's using.
Sure.
And usually you won't catch me by telling, oh, it's a roll and move game. It's like, can you just not? and then you play a roll and move game, and that's awesome. Like Molly's House is a good example of that, or not Turncoats, the new one, Pax Penning, roll and move. And actually, you realize that with a mechanic that you think is tired and boring, actually you can make really interesting stuff. And that for me would be weird, that you take the most boring mechanic and make something fun. The art can also make a game weird, I think. And I think the guys who did After Pablo also did Cave Evil, and I think that would probably qualify as a weird looking game. So
definitely,
I think that's for me what would make a game weird. And for you, Liz,
what makes a game weird? I don't know. Like, have I just been playing so much that I just don't think anything's weird anymore? So I think Molly House is weird in the sense that you have to play it a couple times to really get what it's trying to do, if that makes sense. Like it's a little, it takes a minute for you to discern its points. I actually think Oath is a little bit like that. I've been playing Oath all the time for a year. And fortunately I still enjoy playing it. So that's good. But like the inner secrets and things that make Oath enjoyable take a minute to like show. So that there's weird in that sense. There's weird in the sense that like I just bought the Anarchy and I really liked Hadrian's Wall, but like if you actually look at those like sheets for the roll and write, they do everything wrong in terms of how games are supposed to be, in terms of accessibility and like visual simplicity. Like those things look messy until you actually know what you're doing, and then once you decide that you're going to commit, they're like super fun.
They're so fun, and you sort of feel like you're seeing like through the Matrix. Once you like get it.
Somebody once walked by me playing it with a couple other people and said, "Y'all look like you're doing the SAT." And it's true.
Very good joke from Chris. I think Chris, Compass games are weird for different reasons. That's a whole other topic, I think. I would like to say one thing before we jump to another question. So there was this comment from Kilburn earlier, waiting to see the Baltic Empires map and stuff like this. Actually, I'm more than happy to show you the Baltic Empire stuff on TTS, but I will do that at the end of the stream. So if you stick around, I will show you some exclusive stuff. The other thing that I would say is that at the end of the stream, I will also do a giveaway of some boxes of a very civil whist that are shipping quite soon, I think tomorrow or something like this from Phalanx. So stay until the end and wait for the recipe for onion soup. That's what I have to say. Anyway, that's just
great.
just a warning. Go ahead.
I mean, now that Compass Games has been mentioned, so you got to pick two. All your games are now published by Compass Games. You have to design a series of Wehrmacht Officer Simulator solo games, or you must do all of your art and your own rulebook writing. So you just pick two. It's quite an easy one, maybe quite a softball question.
So I think it's a softball question, honestly, because I will take probably the last two.
Sure.
I think, because I think the problem with me writing the rulebook and making my own art is not that I don't like doing it. It's just that people will hate it, but then that's the problem. Like on my side, that's completely fine.
So what you're saying is that you're going to do the Wehrmacht Officer solo game with your own rules and art, because then everyone will hate it on two levels, and you'll just get that out
so it would be very meta, and I think it would be a win-win situation. So that would be my idea. But if I can avoid I mean, I could work for Compass because they will publish my own art anyway. So in a way, doing 1 and 3 is more or less the same thing.
It's the same thing,
because they don't reread the rules and they don't do the art unless someone comes up with some art and they don't pay the artist or something. So I don't know. It's just allegedly, probably. So that's an option, because apparently if they don't have an artist, they just do AI art. It's like this fucking Vietnam game that's fucking awful. It's like, what the fuck, guys? It's like, do you have any? Do you still have a bit of self-respect, or
what is this game?
I don't want to know. But I know that it comes with a fucking AI comic book in it. That looks so fucking dumb. It's like, oh my god, that's insane.
It's a little weird. It's not a good look, I would say.
No, it's not a good look.
For the measured response, I'd say.
Okay, I have a question. Can you get a co-designer, and do they count as part of this? Or
No,
do you
doesn't work.
You have to do it.
Stop.
No, Liz.
Stop cheating, Liz.
I gotta ask.
Stop cheating.
So, my art would be bad, but I'm good enough at writing rules. I think I would take it. I would never commit to one publisher forever just because I couldn't. So I guess it would have to be the solo series. But you know what?
yeah.
I feel like you could do something. I feel like you could do something with that wouldn't be that gross, depending on how you approach it, because there's no rules about how you have to approach it.
Yeah, so and it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be during World War II. It could be a Wehrmacht general that was in World War II, but you depict a part of his life where he's, you know,
you could depict the Nuremberg trials and just him like slowly,
exactly.
So, like,
yeah.
How quick are you gonna get executed? Yeah. You win if it's a lower number. Yeah.
But like, great. You could do. I mean, I'm a big, you know, I know that there are people who don't believe this about us, right? But like, I'm a big believer that it's not so much the theme, it's how you do it. So if I really thought I had something to say in that arena, I guess I would do it carefully. I'd rather risk that than never ever get to choose my publisher again.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's a good answer. Much better than Fred's. So
that's not really hard, to be fair. Yeah.
What is a genre or type of game that you haven't played much of and that you'd like to play more of? And would you want to design something in that space? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So a type of game that we haven't played a lot of, and I would like to design. Yeah, I would like to play more. I think for me, it would have to be train games. But then again, I played quite a bit of them. That's the thing. But I would really like to make some train games. It's just that I feel like the people who make train games are very smart. And that's the thing, is that I don't feel smart enough to make a train game, you know? And I don't know if it's just like weird imposter syndrome or something like this, but I think that like especially the people who release some train games with Hollenspiel. What's the designer of the guy who made the train game in a box just with cards?
I don't know. I've only played it once. Oh,
Lost Fred.
Yeah, he's thinking that hard.
It just we overloaded his brain. It was too smooth. Slid right off.
Travis Hill, thank you, Timothy. Liz, what about you for the question?
I actually would like to play more train games, but I don't seem getting interested enough to design one. I just feel like I want to understand the appeal of 18xx, because so many people love it so much that there's no way that there's nothing there. So
same.
I also, you know, my job forces me to push myself. So like, you know, at Leader, I'm the solo person, and so, you know, solo modes have their own ways and their own kind of vibe. But Leader as a whole, as a company, is full of people who love extremely interactive and often mean games. And so I'm like learning how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the hardest spaces to be designing solo games in, I think. I know, interesting, I would say, like the most interesting space for that.
But like that said, you know, my friend Paul Wright and I are making an extremely interactive, extremely nasty game about the Italian Wars right now.
Can you speak on that at all?
Yeah, it's called Foxes and Lions. And we're going to be showing it at SD HisCon to some people, so I'm hopeful that people will have a good time. But it's basically a Here I Stand series game. It didn't start out that way, but it's what it's turned into.
Yeah.
And
that's great.
We've been making cards like, you know, stuff about like Lucrezia Borgia's marriage, where every time she appears, like something diplomatically horrible happens, or like you can break alliances, or if the Pope dies, you have a conclave instead of just them automatically getting whoever the next Pope is.
That sounds great.
So like I've been like learning how to get in touch with that part of myself.
And it's how many players is that? How many players
5.
is that? So, I mean, I know you're designing in the Oath space, so that's clearly like a big multiplayer game, but you're doing the solo side. Is this the first time that you're really designing with intention for that sort of player count?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And like, you know, I guess we'll try to think about how to at least get it to where you can play with 4 people or something like that.
Yeah.
But I will say the jury's out, in my opinion, about whether should be
No.
a solo game, if that makes sense. I think that if it's supposed to be super interactive and full of betrayals and nasty, like sometimes you have to accept that the experience you're trying to create is an experience that has to be had with somebody who can stab you deliberately.
So
like
with
Fred.
with the new with the new Republic of Rome version coming out at some point, so many people on BGG are asking for a solo mode, and I'm like,
why?
Also, there is a solo mode in the original box. You can play solo.
There is, and like why?
Yeah,
why would you?
Why would you? It's like I want to play werewolves, but solo. It's like, but that just play another fucking game. You know, it's like
yeah.
It's like, can you? I don't get me started on people asking for solo mode.
So I mean, Fred, would you consider like co-designing with someone? And Liz, would you consider not?
Yes, that would be the opposite. But so for me, I am more than considered. I actually have a co-design that is going to be on Kickstarter quite soon for Shaco's game. So a game that I did with Brian Asklev, the designer of Baltic Empires. We designed together a game about the first few weeks of the Franco-Prussian War. So that's going to be called Napoleon 1870. So I have already this game. I'm working on a secret project with Yoni, still about 1968, but in a different place. So you'll see. Actually, if you go at SD EastCon, you might see some prototype stuff. So that's maybe something cool to keep an eye on. And Mark Herman and I have been toying with a series to do together of going back to your question about doing an actual war game, of doing an actual hex encounter classic war game together. So those are the things that I'm currently thinking about. I would say that the way I work makes it can make it very annoying for co-designers because I work in bursts. If you're expecting, like, I don't think, for example, I could do a game with David Thompson. I think I would drive him fucking insane. But I think if it's someone who does other stuff and is okay with that and has a bit of a relaxed approach, has multiple stuff cooking at the same time, I think that can work. Like someone like Mark is perfect. Like we've been talking about doing the stuff together for 2 years, something like that. And we'll probably get started seriously probably next year, and that's fine with him. But I think someone who's more serious, more organized, would go fucking crazy working with me.
Absolutely, you're really hard to be around. So
that's very true.
I wouldn't know because someone couldn't get his shit together to come to UKGE this year, last year when I was finally overseas.
I still feel bad about that.
This guy's a real bad guy. Liz, Liz, how about you? I know you've been asked this before, but like, have your feelings changed? Would you want to do?
I have a solo, like, just me as designer project, like slowly cooking. It's just that I prefer co-design in the sense that I like having somebody to talk to, and I like excuses to hang out with my friends. And so, for me, it's about, I like the accountability of having another person. I think that another person makes it go faster because, like, you could talk to somebody and they can just tell you it's a stupid idea, or you could argue about it, and like you just kind of get through the crap faster, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely.
I will say you do have to choose your design partners carefully because it has to be somebody that you're still going to love after a spat.
Yeah.
David and I have never actually had an argument, but it's because he's like, actually, I find him very easy to work with. But it's probably because we have like the same work style, if that makes sense. But I like co-design for the experience of it, but I actually do have a project that's just me that I'm trying to kind of get together. And I hopefully will be talking about it within the next like year.
Yeah, it's quite exciting.
And like I have some prototypes of things that are just me. It's just that it's harder to pay attention to yourself. It's easier to be accountable to other people.
Yeah.
So
I mean, both of you throughout this have been referencing 1,000,001 games that you have in like the irons in the fire cooking up and ready to go. How could I, someone with one game being designed, how could I make a lot of money designing war games like you have?
So much money.
So much money.
The house that I'm in was paid just
entirely, right?
out of just the house is only the royalties for Red Flag over Paris.
Sure.
I think
you
that
bought 3
Rachel,
or 4 for Jest, right? To be a landlord for, right?
yeah, exactly.
Right?
So when I released Jest, I started buying buildings in Paris.
Yeah.
To capitalize
Yeah,
things
yeah.
on this, and I think Rachel from GMT is in the chat. She can confirm that. I'm loaded. So that's the idea. So I would say,
Very
yeah,
socialist of you, Fred.
yeah, exactly. So I would say to make a lot of money, you need to exploit social history. That's usually the topic that sells the most. So,
Yeah.
for example, I had this suggestion to GMT to take Ted Racer's system for Napoleon and make I Ho Chi Minh. I think it could be just like a money printing machine. I think people would.
I think so many people want that, right? Yeah.
And actually, Rachel said, yes, I did change my address. I'm just traveling around with all that money. I don't know what to do with it. So I just, buy a new place in London,
like
buy a new place in France. I go around. So that's, great, crazy stuff. So I would say, social history, very niche topics, on topics that no one is interested in, and really focus on this and try to take systems that people don't necessarily like that much.
Sure.
So that would be my tip for that.
Okay, that's really helpful. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so real talk about this. So I guess you could count my job as money I make from gaming, but that's like kind of different, if that makes sense. In terms of money I've made from my own designs, I've made $0 so far for Night Witches.
Okay.
And I have made my advance for Salt and Pepper for Queen of Spies, which is coming to GameFound in December. And that's it. I made like $1,000 so far total.
That's pretty good.
But I started designing in 2022. So if you want to like split that across,
a good hourly rate. That's really good.
Yeah, doing great.
Well, you could have bought like a few houses maybe 100 years ago. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, in other times, like that nickel for a movie would have been. But at the same time, though, like let's be real. Like I used to be a Latin teacher, and I went to grad school for ancient Christianity. Like when have I ever made a financially practical decision in my entire life? I have not. And that's a continuing trend.
To build upon what Liz is saying, I used to have a really high paying job, and I think the stupidest decision that I made financially, not as a life decision, I think it was a great decision, was to take a break from my career to just like renovate a house in France and do some board games, but yeah, not financially a wise decision. I would tell you that. Yeah, so that's for sure.
Fred and I are fantastic future life coaches. We've got this.
And Rafi's right. Those boxes of Civil West are just here to hide money from the French IRS.
You just need to make a game with a stretch goal to have like metal money.
Yeah,
and then you just get like a few copies of that for free, and you're set.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Great. I mean, more. How are we feeling? Do we want to go for longer? I've got plenty more questions, so we can carry on.
Let's do a few more questions, and then when we hit the hour mark, we can wrap it up. Yeah.
So this I think this one's going to be an easy one that you've all probably heard a million times before. If you had to spend the rest of your life stuck inside of one CDG card, which card would it be and why?
That's a fucked up question.
Don't answer too quickly.
I let Liz answer first.
Game component, if you want, or any card.
Any card.
No, it has to be a card in a CDG.
Okay, sure.
Who wants to be a fucking card in a CDG? Usually those events are awful. It's like why would you?
Do I have any CDGs?
I mean, okay. Let me think about this. So because I've been working on a CDG, I think that I would really enjoy like something Renaissance-y from boxes. Or like I kind of think that even though I guess it's not technically a CDG, like in Wars of Marcus Aurelius, you can kind of like dump cards for actions, or it's like, it's not quite a CDG, but it's close. I don't know. I'd pick something Roman and just go hide out and like that sort of like Faustina card where you can like go and like watch Marcus Aurelius's wife make a fool of herself thinking that he's dead. But then you can just kind of wind up in a place that's like kind of great until somebody shitty takes over as the next emperor. And then that's just like living right now. I don't even know how to do it.
It's no real difference. Yeah. I just grabbed
I think Arnaud has a good suggestion. I think there are probably a few cards in PAX game that I would enjoy being trapped in forever.
Oh, yeah,
but if I have to choose one that is top of mind, that probably might be the goal card from Twilight Struggle. Because that would make sense. Yeah,
that's clever. Yeah,
this is like getting Jumanji'd. Like, did y'all see
that?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I picked up For the People from my shelf just now, and the top 2 cards are Financial Crisis. So maybe not that one.
We're already there, baby.
We are trapped in it already, so that would be fun. Yeah.
The other one is Confederate Inflation. So I don't know. I don't know about both of those.
Well, knowing you, Pierre, and knowing your game collection, I'm sure you'd be happy in the Confederate Inflation.
I'd like to address this. Thank you. One of the questions that was submitted was, which of Pierre's collection of racist games do you most want to own?
So just for context, for people who don't know, Pierre is known in the community for having the most extensive collection of racist war games. So, and I think it's quite a testament to his character, the fact that he's, collecting them a bit like, in the Vatican where they have those banned books. Pierre has this collection of banned games. It's
I think I'd like to highlight that I could only see 3 games in my collection that I would deem racist in any way, and I don't think that necessarily all racist. One is Jeff Davis, Confederacy at War. That was given to me by Stuart Ellis Gorman.
Stuart in.
Yeah. Throwing him under the bus.
Yeah, the other one was Mosby's Raiders, which was given to me by Stuart, which I think, Liz, you gave to him?
No, I actually made the mistake of giving him In Magnificent Style, which led to so much fun.
Well.
Oh my god, so much drama. That was all your fault.
I do not own. And then, Fred, you actually gave me Gettysburg Pub Battles, which has, on the surface, pretty light game about Gettysburg. I looked into it. There's a special rule inside it that you could have Jackson, Stonewall Jackson, rise from the dead and play in Gettysburg as though he didn't get killed. And I think it's just quite curious that, Fred, that was your game that you gave to me when you moved to France. I'm just...
Well, I don't think it's yours. I knew of your weird appetites, and I thought that's probably a good game for him. I'm just a people pleaser, Pierre. That's the only thing.
Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, no, everything's above board here.
Yeah, is it? Well, I think the only way would be.
Say, so responding to Ebony's, it's all for research and quotations. Let's be real. If you looked at my book collection, you would think that I was a Christian. Just because you read it doesn't mean you are it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Good question from Chris. Does Zombie Stonewall Jackson have the same stats as Living Stonewall Jackson? Which is the question that we're all asking right now.
That's a really good point. And I don't know which one would be better, whether he has zombie stats or living stats. I think he's just like a generic leader counter in the game, which is sad. They could have done something funky with that.
Yeah, Kilburn. We're just making fun of the Lost Cause vibe of those games. They are not necessarily actually racist.
No, I don't think they're actually. I don't think. In all honesty, I think Mosby's Raiders is actually pretty decent treatment of the topic.
Yeah.
But okay. Definitely another one Fred gave me though. All right. What are your top 3 favorite historical conflicts? And I want your top 3 general conflict topics.
It's weird to have a favorite conflict.
It has to be a favorite. Let's say in the context of design. And I want a niche game design topic that you want to have a game made of. Not necessarily you want to design, but you want to have a game made of. It has to be something not many people have heard of. Go ahead.
It's fucking hard. So I think there is a specific game. Like I have a very niche topic on a game that I would like to make. And that's the amphibious assault of Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon during World War II. And I think that would be really, really funny to make a MIDI like in the Churchill system, but in a very condensed version, because basically it happens over just the span of a few days, and basically de Gaulle decides to do an amphibious attack on Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon. No one wants him to do this because it's fucking insane, and he does it anyway. And I think the title of the game could be a Churchill quote about it, which was "It was a tempest in a teapot," and I think that would be a nice title for a game. And I think that's a very niche topic that I would like to make a game on.
Yeah, very good. I like
And
that.
regarding conflicts or periods of time that I find interesting, there are so many of them. It's really hard to pick one, and usually changes over time. Like I have phases where I'm really into something for a small period of time, and then I go from to another topic. I think when The Great Game was released and Pax Pamir New Edition was about to be released, I was really into 19th century Afghanistan. I thought it was like super fascinating, but then again, I think a few months after that, I was into like 1864 conflict between Prussia and Denmark, which is super niche. There are a lot of those topics where I get really obsessed with, and sometimes I get obsessed also with 18th century siege warfare, and like it doesn't. I just hop on and off from in different topics, so I wouldn't be able to say I have a favorite thing. That would be hard for me.
Okay.
Interesting. When I think about conflicts, like I don't really think about wars, and I think that is why I'll never make a real war game, apparently.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in things like, I don't know, I'm interested in conflicts that kind of move our culture forward, if that makes sense. So like right now I'm reading a book about how Ulysses by James Joyce used to be banned material in the United States, and like, kind of the conflict over what free speech entails and like what should be allowed to be published. I think that there's something interesting there, especially in our modern book banning culture. One thing I love about Votes for Women is that it's about a conflict that I, of course, extremely fucking care about, because I like voting. And
how good did it do that you could vote? Look at what happened. At some point
I voted the way I needed to vote. But I also, free last didn't do so hot, but I'd really like to see more stuff about the civil rights movement. I think that's interesting.
I think I'd like more global civil rights movement as well. I think I'd like some stuff about workers' rights in the UK and women's rights in the UK going forwards in the early 19th century. I think that'd be super interesting. Absolutely. I think that's a really interesting topic that's completely unmined, really.
In terms of niche topics, I dream eventually of making games about. I want to make a game about being like a royal mistress, like Madame de Pompadour style, and like trying to keep someone happy because your entire career depends on their happiness, but everybody around him hates you, and you also are trying to get some sort of political agenda through.
That's really
I just
cool.
find that like interesting. There's like something there, and I also think it'd be really fun to do like kind of in this a similar vein, like a game about like Italian courtesans. Just because like these are topics that they're kind of lurid, which frankly, I once read an essay called The Jerry Springerization of Late Antiquity about how late antiquity scholars just like all the martyrdoms and like weird sex stories. Like, I'll be real, like this is absolutely accurate to me, and I felt attacked. But I also think that because, the history of historical gaming is still so masculine, that there's a lot of room for treatment of topics that would either be ignored or that would like come out weird or prurient from some designers, but not others. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I would be like super interested in exploring some of that and seeing what I can like mine. So in the future years, we'll see.
Actually, you reminded me of something like a project that I would like to do. And you were talking about being too masculine. I'm going to say something that is extremely masculine and very stupid. But a game that I would like to do is actually, I would love to do King Arthur dating sim. I think it would be, that's the project that I had in the back of my mind. I started doing it I started as a very simple video game on Pico 8.
Years ago, right?
I think it was a couple of years ago when I was getting into Pico 8 and I wanted to figure out how video game programming was happening. But I think it could work potentially as a board game and maybe probably more within the space of what I could do. But sometimes I have stupid ideas like this. Yeah,
that's great. I think they both sound really, really interesting. I like the idea of picking a niche topic like that and then getting 3 or 4 designers to have their own take on a small print game in the same box of that weird little social topic. That would be so interesting. I think like your example of courtesans, and what their take on that, which is like an unreal, not really, I guess, not really interacted with topic before in sort of a serious historical manner rather than just like here's the theme of courtesans.
Yeah, I will say the game Courtesans which is like not about courtesans.
No.
I will never look at that game title and see it as not about high class.
I know exactly what you mean.
Oh man.
Okay, great. This question was submitted on the Discord too. It's pretty serious. It's a rules question that I think someone has. In a war game, can a unit move beyond its movement allowance?
And I think there is a follow-up question. I think the two have to be replied.
Do you have a card or leader that allows it?
Well, then, and can unspent movement points roll over to future activations? Now, I got a bit confused with this question because they use the term movement allowance and movement points seemingly interchangeably, which is insane. So yeah, what was your take on that?
So I would say that obviously in Hex Encounter games, you can keep your movement points from one round to another. Everyone knows that. You use usually a small dice that you put next to each counter, which is really practical, especially when you have a big stack of counters. So this is what you do. You do your moves, then you keep a dice and you know how many movement points you have for a future round. And that means that in a future round, you can actually move beyond your movement point allowance,
That's
obviously
good,
because you kept the movement points.
It's like keeping the momentum, right?
Exactly. And this is the thing that people need to know is that when you start playing a Hex Encounter game, always remember that you can keep your movement point allowance from one round to another. People don't figure that out until really late when they're into their journey in the hobby. And I think it's really important to keep that in mind. And that's why you need to have a shitload of D6 dices or even sometimes D10s, depending on the scale, because you want to have those dices all around the board to remember how far you can go from one round to another.
You can hide it behind your painted terrain and stuff like that. It's pretty good.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks for that. That's I hope
that's useful.
Yeah, I really hope that's useful, guys. Really.
And actually, Tim is actually a strong point, like experienced player here, Tim. The best is not to move for several turns and then do tack.
It's sort of it's like a rail gun, right? Where you go fully as quickly as possible straight across, and then you get to add that momentum to your rolls, which is quite good. Again, this applies to every war game as well. So,
all of them. There is no. That's a standard. I hope that helps. Yeah, no, it's good. It's these sort of unsaid rules that tend to show up in war game. It's why you don't have it in the Jester Robin Hood rulebook, for example. Sort of because everyone just assumes they're real. Okay, I mean we're mostly there at the end of streams. Fred, I know that you want to do go on to TTS. It'd be really cool to show off that map, but you usually plug your coffee. But I think now might be the good time to talk about how you're actually migrating to OnlyFans. Is that right? Given the content the coffee unlocks, and it's been a discussion that we've had for a very long time. So I'm opening my OnlyFans account. Actually, it's been open already, but it was for a different niche. I'm opening a second OnlyFans just for grognards. So that's going to be a spicy content for people who are into Hex Encounter games. And I'm going to do a series of videos and teasing photographs where the box I'm using to hide my parts is getting increasingly smaller. So that's basically the idea. I'll start with one of the Sound of Drum boxes. That's
really good. The massive ones, right?
The massive one, the really large ones. And I'll start with this, and then I'll work my way towards.
I think that's a great idea, Fred. It is pretty horrific, the content, so I wouldn't recommend anyone getting it. But it's a good idea, and hopefully it.
I think it will kick off. I think it's a new way to engage with the community, and the community is so open-minded about those kind of stuff that I think it's also great to be in a community like this where people are open to new ideas, new type of content. I think that's.
But you can always go to the tried and true. Like you can just have a top-down camera and wear a cute outfit and clip counters on camera.
That's true. That's true.
And try to have a sort of a cleavage.
Going along. You should actually just make yourself like a little bra out of smaller box tops.
Yeah,
I do think that's a bit overdone, though, isn't it?
At this point,
the market's a bit saturated at this point.
And that's actually an awesome name for an OnlyFans account, Loaded Luger. Yeah, I think that's perfect. I think it connects everything together. Thanks.
That's a really
Molotov,
neat way
for that.
to end the questions, I think. Thank you.
I think well, there were a
Molotov.
few questions in the chat, but I think it's okay. Feel free to ask the questions on Blue Sky. You can follow me on Blue Sky, and I promise to reply to any stupid question that you might come up with on Blue Sky. The thing that I would say before concluding the video, so A Very Civil West is by Phalanx is going to be shipping soon. I should have quite a few copies, designer copies, going my way, and I wanted to offer 2 boxes to people who will join the Discord server in the next like before Monday. If you join the Discord server before Monday, you are eligible to get a free box of A Very Civil West that I should be able to ship next week. So that's the idea. And to join the Discord server, you just have to do a donation on Ko-fi. The link is in the description, and then you'll get an invite to the Discord server. So I'm waiting for all of you on Discord. Join us. Pierre is there, Liz is there, a lot of really funny people are there talking about history, games, arguing about hats. And actually, I think it was a question from Deborah about which hat is my next hat. And I'm not sure there is a lot of candidates, but I will post some hats update pretty soon, mostly probably on Blue Sky, but also on Discord. So that's also the thing. And I guess the way I will do is, I think I will gift the box of A Very Civil West maybe to the number 200 and 201 person that joins the Discord server. That would be it. But yeah, I think that's it. And I think people wanted to see some of the Baltic Empire stuff. So
that'd be amazing.
While you chat with Liz, I'm gonna launch Steam. Hopefully, I'm not gonna break internet, and then I'll show you some.
Yes. So while Fred's doing this, I just want to thank y'all so much for this incredibly intellectually stimulating conversation.
It's well, I think that I should be thanking both of you, because I think it's quite rare that we get both of these sort of such accomplished minds together to talk on these really important topics. Specifically about the crumpets and the biscuits, obviously.
And those are topics that other wargame content creators are scared to talk about.
Refuse to touch.
They refuse to acknowledge it. And Liz and I, we're not scared. And that's the thing, that this is why we're different. So you've heard it here. This is we're doing different kind of content here. We're not scared to talk about the difficult topics.
Liz, have you played Baltic Empires at all? Have you seen it?
No,
it's really good. It's really good.
It slaps. Yeah,
I really like it. I think the GMT game I'm looking forward to the most this year, mainly because of the art, but also because the game is just fantastic. For everyone who doesn't know, it's Nils Johansson.
Oh yeah, it's gonna look good.
Nils
Johansson did the art, and the design is by Brian Ascliffe.
Yeah, and Kilburn. It's 5-player asymmetric. It's really, really well done. The rules are super easy to pick up, but I think it's asymmetric enough that they're really interesting. And I haven't played. I think I've played like 4 or 5 games of it now, and they've all been totally different by the end, which is great, which is awesome. There it is.
Awesome.
There it is. So this is a quick teaser of what it looks like. So this is the map. The map fucking slaps. And I really like the fact that it's I have a problem with historical games being too focused on like having very neat UIs, and I'm like, no, I want fucking theme dripping from my components. And I think this one is exactly doing this. The work from Nils is insane. Like he even has those details of having some offset colors from old printing technique and stuff like that. Like he did amazing stuff. He found some small snippets of people and animals and stuff like this. So amazing art. So that's what the map looks like. And then you have a more modern approach on the player boards. The player boards are insanely cool. You have your court at the bottom, so that's really cool. Your victory conditions and stuff. So yeah, it looks really, really nice.
Really pretty. And it's all like I think people were worried with the map initially that it wouldn't be readable enough, but it's really readable. It's really easy to read the different resources you have on it. It's really easy to take it in, especially over the table. You can see it really clearly. It's really good in play as well, not just. I mean, the cards are amazing too. If you want to show a couple of them,
I'm going to show some cards, of course. So the first thing is that already the card backs. I think I really like what he's done. Like what he came up with. Awesome stuff. This is the card template. Quite dark, but like very evocative. Using some wood prints, colorized them, and with like really amazing details for symbols and stuff like this. And he came up with this completely insane Jeu de Loi style victory point tracker, which is,
I love that.
I mean, it's amazing. There's a lot of small details. You have a more practical one on the other side. If you are a true grog nerd, this is the way you track victory points. This is the way you do it. But then, if you are a softer person, you can do with the simpler UI. But yeah, it's quite great. And yeah, so those are some of the counters for units. Is pretty straightforward. What I love though is the resources tokens. The resources tokens are just insanely cool. And they remind me of Antiquity a bit, the way it's done. I don't know if you guys played Antiquity from Splatterspellen, but it definitely has that vibe. The fish is kind of a bit similar. It's the same period, the same kind of inspiration. And the most important resource of the game, flax. You've got flax everywhere in this game. If you don't know about flax, you need to learn about flax. It's one of the most important fiber in history. It's amazing. And
gotta tell you, it's all about the flax.
The flax must flow. That's the thing. The flax must flow.
All about the cones.
It's all about the flax. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So on top of being a really cool game, it's also a beautiful game. I think probably one of the most exciting art that I've seen in quite a bit. So I hope that people are
and I gotta reiterate, like, the design is amazing. Brian is a genius when it comes to designing these sort of games, and it's so good. It's really fun.
The thing that I like about Brian and his approach to this game is that he the way he integrated asymmetry is really interesting, in the sense that the rules are not different from one player to another. But the asymmetry comes from the fact that they are in very different situations, like they all play the same game, but the situations are different, and the way it's implemented into the gameplay is very, very cool. And the fish token is amazing. That's great. And actually, good point, Tim. Flax is also great for dog poop. It's full of fibers. So that's the. And you know what, Molotov Cockatiel, we were talking about a very niche game. I think I could do I could indeed do not just a card game, a TCG. I could do a TCG just about Flax and its applications. So that's the thing. So
just more topics that people are too scared to approach. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They were too scared. Because it's a sensitive topic. No one talks about flax. So this is pretty much. So I said I would do a bit of a teaser. I hope that it got you guys excited about this amazing game. And I think that's pretty much it. So reminder, well, first of all, thanks to all of you for supporting the show. 8K, now it's the road to 10K. So I hope that we're going to get some support. I was planning on doing it this year, but I don't think it's feasible. I think it was unrealistic. But let's hope that we get to 10K maybe before next year, before the end of next year. But that should be fun. Join us on Discord and get a copy of A Very Civil Whist from Phalanx Game that is going to be out pretty soon. Shipping, I think, at the end of this week. So that's gonna be awesome. And I think there were a question about from Deborah about an expansion for Jest, and actually I sent an email to Jean and Jason about it. So maybe there is something coming. So keep your eyes open, and hopefully some new project with GMT soon, probably with Mark Herman. Yeah,
but I had mention of a solo mode in that one as well.
No, no, it's multi-handed solo. So so that no bots.
Okay.
So that's sure. So that's the idea. Or at least that's the point that we are at. And yeah, thanks. So I guess I'd probably get canceled again in the future. So if you wanna know
you're
when I'm
canceled
gonna
right now, just for ceremonial reasons.
That's
No
great.
actual.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I'm always
Actually,
canceled at the end of each show, but I'm also sometimes canceled on top of that. And if you want to be sure to follow all of my cancellation, you need to subscribe to the channel and get to 10K. Because the bigger the audience, the more rewarding the cancellation. So that's also something to
and the
higher they
more
fly, the
thousands
harder
you'll
they
make.
fall.
Yes. Well, thanks everyone for joining. It was really fun. Thanks, Liz and Pierre, for being here with me. But yeah, oh my God, hop on board. I would say hop on board. Amazing new channel about rules, teaching, and playthroughs. Really highly recommend that you subscribe to Hop on Board.
Skip back to the start.
Some stuff is coming about the All King Crowd on Hop on Board, which is the very hot game right now. So go and subscribe to this channel. Cool. But yeah, thanks everyone. Have a great evening. See you soon. New content coming soon. Finally, the review of 1212 Las Navas de Tolosa is finally going to be out. So woo, that's crazy. But yeah, thanks for everyone and have a great night. Bye-bye.